Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome again to my Space Engineer server, Orpheus. Today is going to be kind of a boring session. I've got some upgrades to do. Finally getting on with the salvage portion of the ship's function. And I'm going to create a catch plate. Someplace where I can dissect wrecks faster than I am doing it now. All being done by collectors. At first I thought I was going to build a collector plate on a boom or something, or some sort of container for them, but booms seemed to be a little bit fragile, so I wanted something that was a bit more stable. I had a lot of room on the flight deck here, so I figured let's install one right there. I wasn't sure how big to build it, so I kind of just guessed. I needed it to be big enough to handle a modest-sized wreck, but also small enough to fit in the space provided. I didn't want it crowding out other things, but I might end up redesigning the flight deck a little just to make this bigger if it turns out to be inadequate. But I think what I had in my brain was big enough. Only a question of building it and finding out. This video is going to have a lot of these bits, unfortunately. I'll fast forward through as many as necessary. Make things seem a little less tedious than they were when I did it. There is one problem with the welders, though. I started out with a handheld welder and then switched to one of the pops. And I ran into a small problem. The welders and the grinders seem to be a little fragile. I don't think I've ever taken out either one without breaking the tip off. So, had to fix that little problem. Thankfully, it was just the welder block that broke off. Didn't lose any cargo or any other pieces off the bob. gonna make it the right color. Pretty sure that I need more light out here. The sun is in almost the wrong place right now. Anyway. Eventually this is going to be the main Bob control center. There we go, all fixed. And there it is. That's the plumbing for the collectors. I was going to use conveyor junctions, but they take up too many components, so I opted for the tubes. There's less redundancy there, but it'd be adequate. I was going to armor them up too, so should be plenty of protection. I set up that connector so that I could get to some components easier, but I decided to leave it in when I was done. And now the splash guard is finished, for what it's worth. Now I need to put in the hanger. I could have used a boom for that too, but I wanted something that was pretty sturdy and wouldn't come down, and didn't really have to be mobile, so I opted for the largest magnetic plate there was. By now you've probably noticed the patchwork in the hull. Not all the hull pieces are the same. There's some blocks that look like they've been patched and repatched. That's actually the look I was going for. I figured as I would make adjustments, I would be using different hulls, so it would look like repair work. I think it looks pretty good, but I'm not other people, so. And there we go. All finished and ready for action. And I had a perfect test for this. As it turned out, it would take some doing, but it fit. If only barely. You know, In case you haven't noticed, these are the captain's quarters. Keep a locker in here for stuff and try to put it away when I log off in case I have to restart the server and things go wonky. The fun part here was visibility. As you're about to see, it was challenging. Not sure how to solve the problem, but I see it as a problem that has to be solved. Let's see what I mean in a minute. Yeah, I could have gone in to disconnect these legs, but I didn't think I would be using them again, so didn't really have to. I am really thankful that you can technically remote pilot a grid from any location. Otherwise, I don't think this would have been possible without a couple of spotters on my side. I should probably name my bobs better, but only just started seeing the need for categorization. I also think I'm going to have to consolidate the flight deck a little bit more. There's too many things in too many different places. This run made me also realize that the tug bob needs more gyros, more thrusters, and more cameras. However, I was able to get the job done. However, to impress upon you exactly how hard this was, you get to see how long this was on 4 times speed. You're locked. Now the fun begins. Now remember, this is 4 times speed. As you can tell by the speed indicator, I'm going very slowly to avoid accidents. I almost forgot to bring down the shields too. Because even though this is a hollowed out wreck, it's pretty much still an enemy ship, so my shields bumped up against it once. That's when I had to shut off the shields. Here we go. And I knew my visibility sucked, and this is not pointing directly forward anyways. So there were several instances where I got out and spot checked my own. Definitely gonna have to redesign that thing. Started out here thinking that I could just sit there and guide it in, but the sun was at the wrong angle. I knew I had to be out there with it. It would have been so much easier if I could pilot two remote drones at the same time. But sure I ever got above 1 meter per second in this. Now, I would think I'm a little bit over, but not by much. And as I was approaching, I was wondering if I was going to miss that antenna. When catching wrecks, I would position the Jorm and be in the pilot's seat there. I wouldn't have a tug do it at all. But I didn't want to bang things around too much, and I needed to test out the feasibility of both the tug and the collection plate. So, suppose it could have been done any other way. Unless I redesigned the tug or lowered the plate somehow. Let's see what a tight squeeze that is. Yeah, locked, in a manner of speaking. But it was off center, so I had to reposition it. Which, according to the space I had, couldn't just be a question of unlocking it and moving it. I had to clear out some debris. Yeah, then the collection plate seemed to be working perfectly. This is a pretty big wreck, though. I figured if it worked for this, it could work for anything. The only thing I didn't like about this was that there is no way to turn off the warning that says your inventory is full. And that got to be kind of annoying after a while. But I was able to tune it out without too much trouble. And then repositioning the Rex. Now this used to be a Factorum battleship, and it was about twice as big, or twice as long as you see here. I cut it in half and scooped out all the really important stuff, and about the only thing that's left is, now, metal plates, metal grids, and some tubing. Every once in a while I'd run into something like motors or bulletproof glass.
Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full. Inventory full.
I think that's kind of a satisfactory test. I had to keep grinding the wreck, but I needed to finish another project that I had started and didn't get a chance to finish.
Inventory full.
Now, this project actually took considerably longer, but I edited out all of the boring parts, which left me with about 2 or 3 minutes of stuff. The reason this took so long is because I didn't have any way of collecting the debris in here, so it was all basically schlepping back to the cargo bay every time I got my inventory full. I had to grind down, well, 12 jump drives, and then install 8 Prototech jump drives. Now I had all the frames for the Prototechs, but I did not have hardly any of the other materials, so these would be inactive for a while. But they still use considerable, I guess you call them common components, and that took some time to get built, which made me running back and forth to the cargo for a long time until I got these things all set up with as much components as I had in store. And there's the one Prototech jump drive. And as you can see, there's still plenty of stuff I need to get. Well, that's it for now. This session was rather tedious to get done, but I hope my editing was good enough to make it at least partially interesting. Next time I have to gather some Prototech components, which will mean either a trip to one or more trade stations to buy what I need, or a raid on a Factorum base to steal what I need. As before, I put an invite to the Discord in the description if you'd like to join. If you'd like to serve as a member of the Jorm crew, drop me a message or hit me up on Discord. Until next time.